Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua. Aharon started talking to me, showing me stuff, and I'm like, he told me not to go live. Let me show you this before I go live. I'm like, all right, cool. But now it's kind of getting to the point where we need to just go live. So, yeah, so we kind of just having it. We dialoguing amongst each other. Jump in, throw precepts, any comments, whatever, you know how through the spirit, number 23. All right, we opened up, coast was clear, we can do whatever. So anyways, he was showing me kind of something that he was studying, good information. He didn't want to bring it out on live though. So I was like, all right, come. But now I'm telling him something I was studying. So the Hasmonean dynasty, if you don't know what the Hasmonean, all right, damn, now we here, bro. Shit, that happened quick, didn't it?
He said that happened quick, didn't it?
You already got yours up. There we go. Perfect. All praises. Thank you, I.
You straight?
All praises. Can you read and see that good?
Yeah, I got you. It says the Hasmonean dynasty was a ruling dynasty of Judea and surrounding surrounding regions during classical antiquity from 140 BC to 37 BC. It says between 140 and 116 BC, the dynasty ruled Judea semi-autonomously, I think that's how you say that word, in the Seleucid Empire, and from roughly 110 BC, with the empire disintegrating, Judea gained further autonomy and expanded into the neighborhood regions of Perea, Samaria, Idumea, Galilee, and Iturea. The Hasmonean rulers took the Greek title Basileus, which is king or emperor. It says forces the Roman public conquered the Hasmonean kingdom in 63 BC and made it into a client state. Herod the Great displaced the last reigning Hasmonean client ruler in 37 BC.
But and who was that? John Hyrcanus?
The last reigning Hasmonean king? I don't think so.
Because he had a son too, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So basically, the Hasmonean dynasty, the simplest way for me to teach that is when you hear somebody say this fancy term, Hasmonean dynasty, your mind should immediately be thinking about the Book of Maccabees, right? Because it was in that era, it was in that time. Hasmonean dynasty, you should be thinking about Judas Maccabees, Jonathan, their father Mattathias, Simon, right? Simon's son.
This is a better one.
Okay, what's that going? What did it say?
It's from the Britannica. It says Hasmonean dynasty, also spelled Hasmonean. It says dynasty of ancient Judea, descendants of the Maccabee family. The name derived, according to Josephus in the Antiquity of the Jews, from the name of their ancestor Hasmoneus or Hasmon. Right? It says Simon Maccabeus, son of Matthias and brother of Judas Maccabees, succeeded his brother Jonathan as a leader of the Maccabean revolt against the Seleucid dynasty. He soon became the independent of the Seleucids as high priest, ruler, and ethnarch of Judea. The offices were hereditary, and Simon thus became the first of the Hasmonean dynasty. He was succeeded by his son John Hyrcanus I and Aristobulus I, Alexander Janus, and his widow Salome Alexandria. That's more names.
So this is what I was watching a video over. It was a like 10-11 minute video too, but it was jam packed with so much information, just like you was telling me with the other thing you was watching. So much information, and I'm not really fluent in it enough to really teach everything I learned, obviously, but man, that just made me think of a precept I just looked at. Could you hear me slam my Bible? I didn't even slam it. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
That was the Lucana.
He said that was the Lucana.
That was the Codex. You see how quick you learn, bro? See, as soon as you drop that on me as useful now, see that, bro? Aharon behind wisdom.
Oh, what, brother?
He
What?
really don't. He really don't. Anytime he learns something, he teach me. He do.
I
Oh,
share
yeah.
it, brother. I share the wisdom.
I'll be waiting for the right time.
I come at any time, nigga.
All right, hold on. This is a scripture I just seen. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh no.
I'm looking for when it goes into. Where is it? When a man traveleth. Maybe I skipped over it.
What you talking about?
The scripture that goes into like you gain wisdom and knowledge through experience, or a man who's traveled, he has a lot of wisdom.
Sirach 34 and start at 9.
Okay, so it's a scripture like right around there that I seen. Okay, yeah, that's travel on it. Okay, this is what it was. This is Sirach 34 and verse 11. This part stood out to me today. It says, we got, real quick, we got Officer Tahawam. We got honorary member Shawab Awar. We got Mighty Captain Debar, Hebrew daughter Shalom, and everybody else I didn't mention. Shalom. It says, this is Sirach 34 and 11. It says, when I traveled, I saw many things, and I understand more than I can express. That right there hit me today for some reason. I was reading Sirach 33, 34. I didn't finish 34. I got sidetracked, started reading like I read like four chapters maybe in Psalms or something. Then I read a little bit of Numbers. But anyways, that right there stood out to me. So I understand more things than I can express. And I be in that situation, like now I'm in that situation. You know, when you understand something, but it's hard for you to break it down. It's like you need more understanding to be able to really teach or give somebody else. Give someone else to understand it. But yeah, that thing of that precept, it was like, man, I needed that. I needed that earlier. Just seeing it in the Bible, it hit different. But yeah, everybody should. I think if you desire to be a teacher of the scriptures, you got to know the Hasmonean dynasty. It's an important time period in the scriptures, and what our people and our ancestors, right, dealing with the Edomites, the Greeks. You had mighty men stand up from the tribe of Levi, the Maccabees. Yeah, promoting. You got to know that time period. It's very, 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 very important because it segues right into the Romans and when Christ hit the scene. So it's important to know the Hasmonean, that word, you can't be a stranger to it, right? You got to know that, especially if you want to be a teacher, right? Hasmonean dynasty. That's a fancy term, but it's not that crazy. But yeah, I bring that stuff out you was finna bring out.
I wasn't finna read nothing out, brother.
Bring that out.
You top Matt.
Bring that stuff out.
Bro, here go the Hasmonean dynasty family tree, starting with Mattathias, Judah Maccabee. It don't look like everything kind of numbered correctly. It might have been Eleazar, then Simon. But the one I like to talk about is I think it's this guy.
John Hyrcanus. I'm gonna bring out some information on him.
Yeah. You finna bring some out? Go ahead.
John Hyrcanus. So out of all of the brothers of the Maccabees, the last one standing was Simon. Right? Simon and John Hyrcanus is Simon's son. It's a lot of information already. But check this out. So y'all probably seen this book by now. Who is Esau Edom? So on the 7th page, the second paragraph, it goes into John Hyrcanus a little bit and what was going on when he was on the scene. And it's actually a lot of information. But we here, let's dive into it a little bit. It says the Nabathians or Nabathians now occupied Mount Seir. Mount Seir is in Edom. The Edomites, that's their land.
So what are you reading from?
Page 7.
Of what book? You said what?
Who is Esau Edom?
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Come. It says the Nabathians now occupied Mount Seir, and the Edomites were driven into the old territory of Judah. So now you got Edomites being pushed into our land. It says the Maccabean family, a remnant of true Judites, and ruled Judea from 166 to 37 BC. I'm at page 7, the second paragraph. Yeah, this brother know his what. See, brother, guys like you, bro. Kind. So you see the second paragraph, I'm like 3 lines in. The Maccabean family. Yep, the Maccabean family. Nope. Yeah. You see it?
I believe so.
Okay, kind, yeah.
Around this area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right where it says the Maccabean. It's like 2-3 lines in.
Fine.
Okay, it says the Maccabean family, a remnant of true Judites, had ruled Judea from 166 to 37 BC. And under Judas Maccabee, First Maccabees 5:3, it says he recaptured the city of Hebron from the Edomites in 164 BC. It says during the time of John Hyrcanus, 35 to 105 BC, the nephew of Judas, the Judites were again faced with the hostility of the Idumeans. So you still got Idumeans, Edomites, trying to penetrate our nation, trying to conquer our nation, right? We've been dealing with this for a long time, though, right? It says Hyrcanus confronted the Edomites, causing a decisive change in the relation of the two factions. Now it says John Hyrcanus conquered the whole of Edom and undertook the forced conversion of its inhabitants to Judaism. Thenceforth, the Edomites became a section of the Jewish people. So John Hyrcanus, scholars know him. He kind of was pivotal in the Edomites changing from what they are doing and their beliefs and them converting into Judaism. Right? We had it under control. They was forced underneath us to do the things that we did. Right? It says, thus at this juncture of time, Edomites were then incorporated with the Jewish nation, and their country was called by the Greeks and Romans Idumea. But the tide turned in favor of the Edomite faction when Julius Caesar, type in Julius Caesar. Everybody got to know who Julius Caesar is.
You want me to read?
Please.
Kind of says, Gaius Julius Caesar was a Roman general and a statesman, a member of the first triumvirate. Caesar led the Roman armies in the Gallic Wars before defeating his political rival Pompey in a civil war. and subsequently became dictator from 49 BC until his assassination in 44 BC. He played a critical role in the events that led from the demise of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. In 60 BC, Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey formed the first triumvirate, an informal political alliance that dominated Roman politics for several years. Their attempts to amass political power were oppressed by many in the Senate, among the Cato the Younger, with the
So
private support of Caesarea.
real quick, because there's a lot of information, and he did do a lot of things for the Roman Empire. But the main thing I want to establish, he was a damn Roman, an Edomite, and he was around. So the Roman Empire, they didn't always have. At first, it wasn't an empire. It was called the Roman Republic, and they didn't have one man calling all of the shots like a king. They had a group of senators who would call the shots together. That's why we have a Senate House in America, because we, not even we, they adopted those same fundamentals from the Roman Empire or Roman Republic. You know, you see, if you see something that's good, you would adopt it, right? So Julius Caesar, he was important and changing the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire. He was around during that time, and he had a lot of what's the word I want to say? He had a lot to do with that. What you pull up, King?
Khan, how did the Roman Republic end? It says, how did Julius Caesar destroy the Republic? So did Caesar destroy the Republic? Well, he started a series of civil wars. He seized power for himself, subverted the ideas of the Republic. He changed the Constitution, but he's only really to blame if he was the first one to do that.
Kind.
So, yeah.
There we go. There we have it. So that's why I thought it was important to go into that, because this is the beginning of the Roman Republic. I mean, and when you read it in Maccabees, man, let's do it. We here, we through the spirit. It's not like I'm trying to get to a certain place because I have a certain lesson that I want to bring out. This is through the spirit. So, you know, we going where the spirit go. So when you read Maccabees, I want to say 2nd Maccabees 8. Dang, it's been a second. Give me a second. Or is it 1st Maccabees 8? 1st Maccabees 8. So like, yeah, 1st Maccabees 8.
Come on,
Come
brother.
on,
I
baby.
trusted you, brother.
Baby, come on, man.
I trusted you, man.
Come on, brother. You gonna do me like that?
Where you want it?
I want it at the top.
All right, Khan. This is 2nd Maccabees. So like your 1st Maccabees chapter 8.
You see that? You see that?
That's cause you, bro.
You see that?
It's cause you now, brother. That's the deal.
Brother's got to be accountable.
Hold on, let me up the text size. All right. It says, now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians.
So look, you start hearing about the fame of the Romans, and it's getting crazy. Mighty, a valiant nation, warriors, strategic in war, and anybody that wanted to be allies with them, if they come peaceably and do that, they can form what was the word to use? Maybe amenity. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think.
But basically, they'll form this relationship and have an alliance. If you come to them and say, "Hey, I want to be on your side of the fence," you know, and be teammates, you know, we can form. You can do that. They will gladly accept you. Now you have John Hyrcanus, and you got Aristobul, who is John Hyrcanus' son. They use these things strategically when you read it in the book of Maccabees. Right, we getting conquered by getting forced to be under tribute, slavery, just forced to do things that we not forced to not obey God's commandments.
Being Hellenized.
Being Hellenized, exactly. By Antiochus. But Antiochus, when he was doing that, he had another war going on with shoot, I can't remember
who controlled Egypt, right?
That might have been part of it. I know he had a lot of stuff going on. I think I want to say it was somebody in Asia. I want to say that because shoot, I know he had a lot of stuff going on. Bro. I don't want to say the wrong people, but I know he had a lot of stuff going on. But he had to withdraw. That's when we went, bro. We formed this treaty with the Romans, but we had forgot about it. And Aristobul and John, they end up using it to their advantage to get out of the oppression from Antiochus. There's a lot of history jam-packed in Maccabees, and you really got to take your time studying Maccabees because it's that much information. But it's a lot. But what I wanted to show you when we get to verse, I really just want to use this chapter real quick to go to chapter 8 is good. How they had a Senate house. All right, let me type it in so I can get the precise verse. 19. 15.
15 is where it say what you just said.
Yeah, that's what I want.
All right. Verse 15, it says, moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people to the end that they might be well ordered.
So this is the reason why I wanted to go to this chapter, is to show you how the Romans were operating. Now, at this time, this wasn't really the norm. It wasn't really the norm. The norm is you have a king and he calls all the shots. He makes all of the decisions. You know, he might have an advisor or a few advisors or a small little, people that he trusts to help him rule, but ultimately it was him. It was the king. Now they could give him advice and say, hey, you don't forget about these people to the west. If you make war over here in the east, they're going to see you weak over here, and they're going to, but ultimately the king doing whatever the hell he wants. But the Romans, they had the Senate house, and the Senate house was a big deal. They were making, as far as the money, the amount of money that they kingdom had, they were in charge of that. Different towns, different things that they were building, it went through the Senate house. Wars, they would tell, war is expensive as shit. They say, no, we can't afford a war. The king, you might want to go make a war far away. The Senate house like, nah, we're not doing that, bro. We can't afford it. So they sat in council daily. But if you watch any series about the Senate house and how the Romans were getting down, it was good at one point. It had everything, got pros and cons, but there was so many snakes in there. You had so many people having. It's a lot of stuff I could say about the Senate house. But you want to be one of those people who are in the Senate. You good. You're taken care of. Your family is taken care of. I mean, you're rich. You got money and you got status and you got power. You got pull. You can make anything shake if you're one of these men, on a smaller level. But I want to go back to this in the book. I want to read some more of that. I was down to the part where it says Julius Caesar. It says, but the tide turned in favor of the Edomite faction when Julius Caesar made Antipater an Edomite procurator of Judea in 47 BC. So basically, Antipater was set up by Julius Caesar in our land. It says, when Antipater was killed 4 years later, his son Herod, everybody should know Herod, right? You see Herod in the Bible, in the gospel, a handful of times. If you don't know off the top,
we can actually go into it a little bit later because I wanna get in there with some with some stuff after this, John Hyrcanus.
Okay, shoot, we can do it right now.
Nah, cause you can finish this out, and then I was gonna grab some more on John Hyrcanus in the Jewish Virtual Library, and then we can grab some more on Herod.
Okay, we can segue into it like that. That sounds good.
Yeah, cause
Herod.
I mean, if you want to be honest, cause we still I'm kind of talking to the people now. We still trying to put all the pieces together of everything in detail. Like, we know what's going on, but in detail, it's better that we get all this information. Because I'm finna go into some articles I ain't really seen too often, so on and so forth. But
Uh-huh.
just like a quick little study session.
Yeah, this is kind of like an overview of information. You can always dive deeper in different factions and people's positions, and it's always more to a story,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're reading about it hundreds of years after it happened. Right?
Bro, not
It
to
get
mention,
the deeper you get, the more exciting it's like that makes sense why he did that now.
yeah, bro,
Mhm.
not to mention, this is all the stuff that's leading up to the time of Christ.
Exactly.
All of this is leading up to the gospels, and then you'll see, okay, this is why it's a lot of division. Oh, you'll see, this is why this is running like this, and who the hell Herod? Where he come from? I don't know nothing about it.
Bruh.
It's just it's hard. It's hard.
Herod, he murdered John the Baptist.
Yeah, sought to murder the Christ.
Sought to.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. He
yeah,
tried to. He was in
because
Egypt, though, ducked off.
he knew he wasn't supposed to be damn king, so he trying to find out where is because Christ was the bloodline supposed to be king of from the lineage of David. That's what he was supposed to be. Now that Herod's in rulership, that's a threat. So Herod like, go, we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. We gonna get into it.
All right, kind. When Antipater was killed 4 years later, his son Herod gained power, but was rejected by the Judites. Herod shrewdly gained the support of Rome. So Herod, his position and his power in our land, we couldn't do nothing because it ended up being backed by the Romans. With the Roman army at his heels, he returned to Palestine, and after a 6-month siege, he captured Jerusalem and became king of Judea in 37 BC. Herod was a shrewd and unscrupulous. How you say that? Unscrupulous. There we go. Unscrupulous. There we go. There it is. Unscrupulous tyrant. He was a tyrant and was despised by the Judites because he was an Idumean and not one of their own stock. Look at this. That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. We have it documented in history that our forefathers, they wasn't accepting him because he was a goddamn Edomite. He was an Idumean.
That's what the law says. That's what the law says.
Hey, but Christ died. Yeah, get that. It says the only people that's ruling over you should be your own people.
Yep.
The king got to be one of your own stock, not a goddamn Idumean. But Christ died. Now everything, you got to love Idumeans. No, that's not how our forefathers was getting down. That's not how we getting down. Y'all can get down like that, not me though.
All right, Deuteronomy 17 and 15. It says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Hey, that's a quick cut to the my neighbor is my brother type deal. What they be talking about, how everybody's brothers. No, why? If everybody's brothers, why is law here? That you can't set a stranger over you who is not your brother. But that's what the law say. That's why our people wasn't getting down with this Edomite being over us, especially not down Esau, who had a perpetual hatred. Nah. And after John Hyrcanus, come on, John was nasty, man. Come on.
Hey, it was either Aristobul or John Hyrcanus. At first, our people wasn't dealing with him because he had to work. He gave himself over to Antiochus.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think it was John Hyrcanus. I believe so. I think Antiochus used John Hyrcanus as a damn. It said what I was studying. I'm telling you, they was bringing it out, and they had um some good points to back up what they were saying was true. That's why I was going to bring it out to you, but I couldn't remember all of it. But one of the points was John Hyrcanus was really like that, like mighty and valiant in war. I mean, look at his stock: Mattathias, Simon, John Hyrcanus.
Yeah.
His uncle was Judas Maccabees.
Yeah.
It's in his blood. But Antiochus ended up taking him and actually utilizing them as one of his war generals. So they were, I think he was on an expedition in Egypt, but he got note that Antiochus was getting, I think it was getting attacked by like Syria or somebody in Asia Minor. I'm not completely sure though.
Nah, you I think you're right because I looked it up.
Yeah, okay.
It says, let me see if I can find it.
Because you remember he had them pains in his stomach, and he said it was somebody he tried to go fight somebody and take their treasure.
Yeah. I looked up who was Antiochus at war with. It says the Roman Seleucid War, also called the Aetolian War, and the Syrian War, was military conflict between two coalitions, one led by the Roman Republic and another led by the Seleucid king Antiochus. The fighting took place in modern-day southern Greece, in Aegean Sea, and Asia Minor.
Yeah, I think it was somebody in Asia Minor. But whenever John Hyrcanus heard that he was over there and he was getting attacked, he withdrew to his people, to Jerusalem, and established independence because he was busy at war with another people. So he couldn't come shut that down. But once they seen that John Hyrcanus was still who he was supposed to be, and they didn't like how at that time a high priest is not supposed to be the king. He is like a king, but you had the Pharisees and the Sadducees at that same time, and they had a disposition on that. They were at variance that they didn't like that.
Yeah.
If you're the high priest, be the high priest, and if you're the king and the ruler of our people, that's who you are. But at that time, Judas Maccabees, they were actually coming from a line of priests. They were Levites. But they were acting like rulers too. They was out there calling shots. That's why it's pivotal. It's a lot of information. And when you dive deeper, you're like, damn, this should get even deeper. But I thought I knew something, but I'm gonna keep reading on this.
Hold on.
Okay.
Before you keep reading on that, because it is getting into Herod, I want to get a little bit more on this John situation, because it's finna, from what it looked like, it's finna go more into Herod, which is where I want to lead.
Okay, that's cool. It is gonna go more into Herod in that book.
Yeah. All right, so real quick, Johanan or John Hyrcanus. I say Hyrcanus, but it's pronounced Hyrcanus. It says, grandson of Mattathias of Monin and chief architect of Judean dominance of Palestine, the youngest and only surviving son of Simon, Thassi succeeded his father as high priest in 134 BC. He was the fourth Hasmonean to rule Jerusalem, but his tenure began with a year-long Syrian siege that forced him agree to tear down the city's fortifications and renew tribute the Greek Empire. Is that what you was going into?
That's part of it. Read that last line again.
Okay. It says, but in his tenure began with a year-long Syrian siege that forced him to agree to tear down the city's fortifications and renew tribute the Greek Emperor 133 BC.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going into.
It says within a few years, however, he took advantage of political turmoil in Syria following the death of Antiochus VII to rebuild his forces, reclaim independence, and extend Judean control over Palestine and Jordan. On the southern front, he forced Judah's neighbors in Idumea, descendants of the Edomites, to accept Judaism, and on the northern front, he destroyed the rival temple at Shechem in Samaria. Such triumphs made him the probable subject of messianic tributes by his fellow Judeans, but his own preference for Greek culture made him controversial in Jerusalem. Damn, it says his own preference for Greek culture made him
I ain't know
controversial.
nothing about that.
I ain't know nothing about that either. I ain't gonna lie. I was reading a little bit of I was going over a little bit of Hellenization in the Jewish Virtual Library last night, and it was going over how some of our people, like, of course we knew that they favorite Greek shit and Greek stuff, but it's like some people mixed a little bit of Greek stuff with Hebrew stuff, not so much idolatry, not so much nothing where it's wicked, but
Culture.
it's kind of the culture and the lifestyle a little bit. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
probably like, man, they loving the food,
Bro, sending the children to the
and,
schools,
you know, yeah, it was probably sports.
bro. All that. And I didn't know this until now. It says that he favored the Greek culture, right? It made it controversial in Jerusalem. I can see that.
Yeah.
It says when Pharisees challenged his right to be high priest, he switched his allegiance to the
Aristocracy. Is that what it say?
aristocratic Sadducee, which is basically the same word you said. Sadducee.
See, I'm telling you, they felt a way about him being a priest.
Mm-hmm.
One party was
right to be priest.
Exactly. One party was against it. One party was for it. So now he jumped over here a little bit.
Yep.
There's a lot of information in here that we gotta dive into stuff like this for real.
Bro, for real. And so okay. And so from what I know about the Pharisees and Sadducees, the one that they differed in, the Sadducees got down more with the Greek customs and Greek ways. This is why he switched his allegiance to the Sadducees, right? It says still the Dead Sea Scrolls suggest that other Zadokites probably rejected his leadership and left Jerusalem, labeling him the wicked priest who persecuted the priest whom they regarded as the teacher of righteousness. Hey, this is it's all information. I didn't know this nigga favorite Greek shit. I really didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, brothers ain't feeling that.
Brothers ain't, bro, not in Jerusalem. Not in Jerusalem, bro. Hold on, let me see, because I want to get this real quick. How do you spell it? Is that it? Okay. Because I wanted to. It's a lot, bro. I don't know where I was at.
We got to stick to the plan.
I know. I want to stick to the plan, bro. It's just
Walk the spirit.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Since we're getting in the hair out, I'm gonna get in the hair out, right?
Man, it made me think of how it's saying Maccabees. It says, and they favored the Greek fashions
more than their fathers. Yeah.
Yeah. Look right here, 2 Maccabees 4:15. It says, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. And it says, by reason wherefore sore calamity came upon them. So because they like the Greek fashions more than the honors of their fathers and their own traditions, our own heritage, and obeying the Most High God through them law, statutes, and commandments, sore calamities came upon us. It says, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose customs they followed so earnestly, and whom they desired to be like in all things. So your natural born enemy, your enemies, you shouldn't want to be like your enemies.
Mm-mm.
You shouldn't be trying to do everything that they doing.
Scripts say that.
Especially when you know your heritage. We in a position where we're learning and we're coming back to the knowledge of our heritage. And we're breaking off certain customs that we learned and that we was taught since our birth. So we're in a different position. Vice versa, our forefathers who knew the traditions, who had the heritage, who had the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding of what our people was doing, who was in the homeland, And instead of sticking to those things, you kind of switching it up. Not even kinda. You switching it up. It said you liking that best of all. That's crazy. It said and followed them earnestly. You probably studying up, studying night. You know, day and night. You watching the Grecians, their mannerisms, they language. You know, you got brothers, bro. You got brothers learning Greek,
Yeah.
trying to figure what this mean, trying to figure out what's going on. Now you an Israelite, and you trying to become a synod. You know, you're trying to get in there. Now you into the philosophies. Ah, man, that's crazy. I can just think about it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it more now. It's getting weird.
Yeah.
And you got a brother, he an Israelite, and he from the tribe of Levi, and he said, you know, I'm supposed to be, you know, a priest from Zadok, you know, an honorable family house and a Levitical priesthood. You know, I'm next up, but I kind of want to offer the swan to Zeus.
Yeah.
There's something about it, and I can feel it. It's got to be true.
Bro, check this out. I found it. The Sadducees. The Sadducees were leaders who wanted to maintain the priestly caste or caste, but they were also liberal in their willingness to incorporate Hellenism into their lives, something the Pharisees opposed. It says the Sadducees rejected the idea of the oral law and insisted on a literal interpretation of the written law. Consequently, they did not believe in an afterlife since it is not mentioned in the Torah. The focus of Sadducee life was rituals associated with the temple. So, real quick, while we reading this, we're on a Jewish virtual library. A lot of this stuff is ancient history. They got our history. This is not pertaining to the Jewish man, right? First off. Second off, yes, we had a thing called the oral law. It's not the whole encompass of the Talmud today. I believe it's something called the Babylonian Talmud, which our people did have their hands on, right? Our people did do stuff like that. We created certain things. We created laws. We created customs, so on and so forth. And that's what you come to learn when you read a lot of these things. And just like we read now, the Sadducees, they were willing to incorporate Hellenism. If you know what Hellene means, it means Greek. They were willing to incorporate this Greek lifestyle. They were fine with having Greek customs and Greek lifestyles intertwined, whereas the Pharisees didn't. And now we just read where John Hyrcanus, he kind of enjoyed the Greek customs. And now you got the Pharisees questioning, okay, nigga, I don't know if you're really supposed to be king or not, because this is madness. This is madness. Mind you, because all our other kings was from Judah. Hold on, brother. What you doing here? Go ahead.
This is First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all of the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Antiochus, the king over the Seleucid Empire after Alexander the Free. He's telling everybody he's over. Look, we all got to be one people. He talking about a one. What's the term? A new order. Yeah, a new world order, a one world government, and everyone got to leave their heritage and their laws and their customs, and they got to come do it this way and get Hellenized. And you got Israelites saying, you know, this ain't that bad. I kind of like it. And we got to sacrifice to Zeus on the Most High God's altar. Okay, we could do that. Break the Sabbath? Yeah, I'm kind of tired of the Sabbath anyway. That whole sentence out of my mouth was crazy. Like I said, I'm kind of tired of the Sabbath anyway. that's a paradox because you know the Sabbath is when you're tired. Yeah, that kind of
Right.
messed me up when I said that. But I'm pretty sure you had Israelites getting down like that. They probably had a festival of some sort on the Sabbath day. If we know Edomites, they
Yeah.
probably had a festival for a different god on the Lord's Sabbath day. And the Israelites probably was like,
I'm down with
that's hidden.
that.
That's crazy to me though. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so like it's back on you.
No, you straight. And like I said, these are all the things that's leading up to Christ, and this is why we see a bunch of division, right? We see a bunch of division. It says, these two parties served in the great Sanhedrin. So you got the Sadducees and the Pharisees in the Sanhedrin trying to come up with laws, trying to figure out how to govern the people, right? They're trying to just figure out how to govern the people, how to make sure everything is all right, right? Um, so now we got information on that. Let's go to Herod, right? This is gonna speak a little bit, and then we're gonna get back to Mahar's book, right? Or not Mahar's book, but who is Esau Edom book, right? It says Herod. It says Rome had been growing and strengthening during the Hasmonean period in 161 BC. Near the beginning of the Hasmonean period, Judah the Maccabee had made a treaty with Rome. Corruption within the Hasmonean family speeded the fall of the Hasmonean Empire. Our Aristobulus, a typical Hasmonean loving son, declared himself high priest, king 30 minutes before the death of his mother, the queen. It says his brother John Hyrcanus felt his brother hadn't played fair. He revolted against him by 67 BC. There was civil war in Judea, and the land was ripe for the conquest. Rome took advantage of this situation. John Hyrcanus allied himself with the Rome under General Pompey. Together, they succeeded in smashing most of Aristobulus' forces in 63 BC. So John and his brother got into a fight, got into a scruffle, a dispute, and they went to war. It was civil war, right? Next thing you know, John sides up with Pompey. He signs up with Rome under Pompey, right? And then they take down his brother. It says Hyrcanus and Pompey entered Jerusalem unopposed, but the Temple Mount, when its own fortifications, posed some problems. It took 3 months to take the temple, and Rome gained control of Judea. It says, Salakia. It says confusion ensued. Rome was in a state of flux with power struggles between Pompey and Julius Caesar. Caesar won. Julius Caesar appointed governor to keep watch over the country. So while all this is happening with John Hyrcanus, you also got Julius Caesar fighting. You got the Roman Republic coming to an end, and the what is it called? After the Roman Empire is starting to be built. Right? All of this is happening at one time. That's hard.
It's cracking off, bro. I mean, cracking off. You got the Most High God's chosen people, the apple of his eye, going into a civil war. You got our natural born enemies being utilized by John Hyrcanus to take down a damn snake in our nation. I mean, he's suspected of killing his mother's 30 minutes. You know, I mean, it looks shaky. You're saying you're the king and the priest now. Your mama died 30 minutes after. It just looks shaky.
That nigga
It looks
said,
real shaky. See,
I'm
I had
the high priest king.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
I'm the high priest king, governor of Judea. Ak.
Relax.
Okay, I had something wrong. So when I don't know, I might have just said it wrong now. I don't know if that's what the breakdown was going into. I thought Aristobul was, it might be another Aristobul then. I'm not even gonna get into that. You know, people don't need that. I don't even need that. Yeah, I thought Aristobul was the son of John Hyrcanus, but from this article, and this is real solid information from the Jewish virtual library. And if brothers haven't looked at the Jewish virtual library, And I know you can download it on your iPhone if you got an iPhone. I don't know if it's an app on Android. But if you can't get the app, you can just go online. But it's a lot of good information. Like we're reading from the Jewish Virtual Library right now, and gems all throughout here, gems all through. And then you can line this stuff up with other books, like the book that we finna go into, with
Yep.
the scriptures. Like this right here is fun. If you're not having fun, get off the live.
Bro, for real, because it just mentioned something about it just mentioned something that was in the text, right? About boom, Judah the Maccabee had made a treaty with Rome. You can read about that in the book of Maccabees, right? Not to mention it lines up with the Britannica. It lines up with what he just said. The who is Esau? Edom. All of this stuff is information. But guess what? You didn't learn about this in school. You didn't learn about the Hasmonean dynasty in school. That's funny. You learned about Julius Caesar. You learned about Rome. Learned about the Greeks. You didn't learn about anything that happened with the Jews. Nothing to do with your people. Not the Hasmonean dynasty. None of that. Right? You didn't learn about this. So this is
Bro,
you learn about it. Go ahead.
I need to learn more about Pompeii because
That's important.
you know what I'm saying? Like I always heard that name, but lately, I don't know. It's more. It's like I need to know more. Like
From right here.
I just typed in Pompey versus Julius Caesar. It says Pompey defeated Caesar in 48 BC at the Battle of, how do you say this? Dyrrhachium. Dyrrhachium,
Mm-hmm.
but was himself defeated decisively at the Battle of Pharsalus. Many former Pompeians, including Marcus Junius Brutus. Okay, I'm just looking at some of this stuff, but I feel like I need to get more into that because I always hear Pompey.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was him. Well, obviously, it was Julius Caesar versus Pompey with the Republic fall,
Trying to
right?
get that power.
But it looked like Pompey sided with John. Looked like Pompey sided with John against his brother. So it's a lot of while Pompey's fighting Julius, he's also fighting Aristobulus. That's probably why he lost. Let me keep it buck.
Hey, I was gonna say that if you side with the Israelite, you're in good shape, brother.
Bro, it's a lot, but I'm gonna keep reading. It says, this is hard. All right, it says, but mind you, I typed in Herod. You're finna find out how all of this ties into Herod, right? It says confusion ensued. Rome was in a state of flux, right? Because they have a damn civil war going on, right? It says with power struggles between Pompey and Caesar, right? They're the two top powers during this time. But Caesar won. It says Julius Caesar appointed a governor to keep watch over the country, the son of an Idumean who had been forced to convert to Judaism. How was he forced to convert to John Hyrcanus? He sent people over there to convert them rigorously into Judaism. Into Judaism, right? So this is who Julius Caesar sets over our country, a man named Herod. You can't run our country and run our people without knowing our customs, without knowing our laws, without knowing who we are. So Herod was the perfect man for it, right? It says after Caesar's death, Cassius, Mark Antony, and Octavian, all struggled for control of the Roman Empire. They all kept Herod in power, right? So Herod was well loved, right? It says the Hasmonean family wasn't willing to give up, and with the support of the Parthians, a nation in Asia Minor, there was a mini revolt which was brutally suppressed. After putting down the Judean Parthian revolt against their rule, Rome appointed Herod king of Judea. Herod had complete authority and he used it ruthlessly. He established an enormous secret police force, brutally killed anyone suspected of plotting against him, and created Roman peace by slaughtering all dissidents, right? It says Herod controlled the sacrificial cult by placing a lackey in the position of high priest. So he controlled, you said what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he controlled the sacrifices by putting somebody in a high priest position, putting a lackey, basically somebody he can control in a high priest position, right? It says, in any of his appointees was foolish enough to displease him, Herod killed him and replaced him with another lackey. And you can read about the killing and destruction that Herod did. Herod sought and killed all the firstborn males in Jerusalem, I believe. Right? Let me grab that because I remember it. It reminded me of the time of Moses. Let me see. Boom. The massacre or slaughter of the innocents is an incident in the nativity narrative of the Gospel of Matthew, in which Herod the Great, king of Judea, orders the execution of all male children who are 2 years old and under in the vicinity of Bethlehem. Why is it in the vicinity of Bethlehem? That's where Christ was born. That's where Christ comes from, right? He inquired of his wise men, where's Christ supposed to be at? Where is he? Looking to the scripts. We know he's in there. Where is he supposed to come from? How is he supposed to come about? And his wise men came up with the conclusion that, it was in Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, these quick precepts. This is a English Standard Version. Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, became furious and sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem. The wise men tricked them, right? They didn't actually give up locations and what was going on to Christ's whereabouts, right? Because they had received the dream from God, I believe. And, they ain't trying to deal with that. So since that happened, he killed all male children in Bethlehem and in all that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had ascertained from the wise men. It says, then was fulfilled that was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted because they are no more. So this actually fulfilled a prophecy. This is how ruthless and how just evil this damn Edomite was, right? Herod. Because we read about Herod, but we don't know where the hell he come from in the book. This is why you got to do history. This is why you got to research. This is all hard though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm enjoying this. Let me see. Mar, you here?
1 second.
All right. I don't want to continue reading without him because it's tough. It's tough. Everybody still tuned in. Everybody still tapped in. Y'all ain't left us yet. Khan Schwab said only an Edomite would really have the spirit Herod had. Exactly.
Bro, he tried to kill the Messiah who just was born.
Yeah.
Damn right, he Edomite. Anyways, you want me to bring out this book?
I didn't want to keep reading unless you were here. Right.
Bro, it's a lot of information, bro.
Yeah. But I want to read because I think what this is going to go into, like yours is kind of like, I don't know. It's like late Herod, not late Herod, but I think this happens before we get to your book. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think this one is more like, I think it's more information where you at.
Probably, but yeah. I definitely still want to get to that book because
it's a few key points.
Exactly. I'm gonna read right here. It says the vast majority of popular tourist sites in present-day Israel were originally built by Herod. Herod was security conscious. He built fortresses throughout the land just in case he should ever need sanctuary. These included Sebaste in the hills of Ephraim, the central region of Israel, Herodium just east of Bethlehem, and Jericho. Each of these fortresses was architecturally unique. Just going into the architect, right? One of Herod's greatest building projects was in Jerusalem. He wanted to enlarge and embellish the temple, but the mountain on which Solomon had built the first temple and on which Zechariah and Haggai had built the second was just too small for his plans. That didn't stop Herod. He dramatically increased the size of the Temple Mount by constructing huge encasement walls and filling them in with pure dirt, creating a large trapezoid. He was then able to proceed with his architectural plans to enlarge the temple and its courtyards. So now this nigga get to messing with God's house, right? He get to messing with God's house. When I say God's house, I'm not talking about the Most High God's actually, just his whole embodiment is just chilling. I'm not talking about that, right? But he get to enlarging stuff that he don't need to enlarge. He get to messing with stuff and touching stuff which he do not need to be messing with and touching with, right? So it's just certain images and whatnot, and you can look up Herod's temple and what they're going to. But I wanted to get to that part. Now we can get back to the book. We can get back to reading that.
So
Page 8, yeah.
Page 8. We can start at the top. It says, Herod was a shrewd and unscrupulous tyrant and was despised by the Judites because he was the Idumean and not one of their own stock. It says Herod hated the people of Judah, and one of his first acts was to execute 45 of the leaders of the old aristocracy to eliminate any rivalry for leadership. So he hated us. We didn't hate, we hated him. He hated us. Classic Esau and Jacob. Classic.
He said classic.
Classic. Classic. But one of the first things he did was execute 45 of our leaders. It says, just so he could secure his position of being the top dog, for lack of better terms.
Hold on, I want to look. I looked up aristocracy.
Okay.
I don't know what I mean. It says the highest class in certain societies, especially those holding hereditary titles or offices, right? When you go
That's probably going into priests, man. Hereditary offices.
Bro, I'm telling you, priests, kings, all that.
It makes perfect sense because I know the context underneath this goes into the priest.
Yeah. But we can keep reading.
Herod was, he killed important people in our nation.
Mm-hmm.
He killed John the Baptist, bro.
Yeah.
John the Baptist is, you look at John the Baptist and you can be well assured you good.
It's great, but
literally, look, cousins to Hamashiach.
Yeah.
You don't just kill Hamashiach cousin.
He baptized Christ.
You don't do that. Ah, man. That's not good.
Nah, that ain't good at all.
And that's just one of the things he did.
That's one.
Like you said, touching God's house. You got police, you're policing people. You putting lackeys into the priesthood. He was doing a lot of stuff. I didn't know this man did all of that, man. Like, I'll be forgetting about all of this.
This nigga was a devil.
I'm thinking about like my sins and where I mess up, fall short, could have did something better. I should have helped brother in this way. I should have went the extra mile with this. And I'd be like, to pull my hair out. But then you got people like Herod, who killing the man that baptized Hamashiach.
Pure Satan.
Doing weird stuff with people. That's crazy.
He killed all babies under 2 years old, bro.
And, oh yeah, the Mossad. Boy, you ain't gonna be able to say nothing. You can't. I'm gonna keep reading. It says, having secured the kingship, Herod next destroyed the priesthood of Hyrcanus. So he killed anybody that was attached to the Maccabean family. It says the last being Antigonus, who taunted Herod with his Idumean origin. So Antigonus, he was taunting him because he was an Edomite.
Yeah.
his origin. That's
You
tough.
kidding me, bro?
Hey, you can't tell me we don't be on that kind of time. Like, bro, you're an Edomite. You're not an Israelite.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know you want to be, but you're just not, bro. Sorry.
dang, that's a burn.
He said that's a burn.
It says the last being Antigonus. I might have to look into Antigonus a little bit more and see what kind of time he was really on. But this is already good.
Yeah.
He taunted Herod with his Idumean origin and asserted that the kingdom should fall on one of the royal family. Kind of he in the spirit. He's saying, man, so you shouldn't be the king. Somebody who are the royal family should be king, not an Edomite. It says finally he murdered Aristobulus, the last of the Aaronic. Damn it. 1 second. The last of the Aaronic high priest. Herod then sought to affiliate himself with the high priesthood through marrying Mariamne, Aristobulus' sister, the daughter of a high priest. So he trying to make his position even more secure and more authentic, but he never can. He an Edomite. But he like, I'm gonna go ahead and marry, somebody who's a Levite and come from the priesthood.
Yeah, because in their custom, I don't know too much about their custom, but you know how Esau get down, like in our customs and our stuff, it come from the man.
Yeah.
They be dealing with all manners of folly and whatnot, so ain't no telling. Because you know how they in their custom, a bastard is somebody who is not born of the first wife type shit.
Yeah.
So it's like he probably thought he could get away with doing shit like that, and it's like, nah.
Like it was gonna have weight.
Yeah.
I want to touch on that a little bit more, just in case people don't know. So in our custom, our heritage, an Israelite man, even if he got 3 wives, his children, they're not bastards. They're Israelites. But in Edomites culture, like with Game of Thrones, that's how they was getting down. The Edomites get down like that. If a man is married to a wife, if he has children by any other woman, like a mistress or someone low key, that child will be known as a bastard. Vice versa, in our culture, in our heritage, our laws, that's not a problem. All right, they try and make that a thing. They try and make that a thing, but it says Herod even rebuilt the temple as it was in ruins from repeated sieges, part of which Herod was responsible for by his attack upon the city. The temple of God became, in a sense, Herod's temple. That's not good. You don't want that. You got the temple of God being also known as Herod's temple.
That don't sit right.
When judgment come and this pop up,
and Herod temple sitting there. Like, boy,
what do you say? Nothing. It says, we thus find that in years just before the time of Christ, Judea was controlled by an Edomite faction who usurped the Judite name, land, and heritage.
Yeah.
So they the Jews now. They the Jews. They usurped what we was doing, what we had, and who we was. They kind of took that over. They became the Jews.
Yeah.
Edomites. It says, under Hyrcanus, the Edomites were forced to be part of Judean culture, but under Herod, the Herodian faction had control over the Judeans' culture and the way of life. So when you had Hyrcanus coming from the Maccabees, the blood, of the stock, Israelite indeed, he had Edomites bowing down and doing things how we need them to do. But then once that stopped, Herod had us kind of bound down, yokes, making us do what he wanted us to do. had control over our temple, our customs, our laws. Not good. It says, confounding the matter is the fact that some Judites had intermixed with Edomites, Canaanites, and other alien stock at the time they returned from Babylonian captivity. These mixed blood people were also hostile toward the Judean Israelites. So you had some people kind of intermingling, getting into it. Jeremiah always say this. He said, anytime you're around somebody in the world, you should be pulling them more than they pulling you.
Yeah.
This is how it became. You had people mingling with the other races, the Canaanites. Ain't no way in hell you should be intermixing with the Canaanites. That's a direct violation of the law in Deuteronomy chapter 7.
It's a direct violation.
Direct transgression. And they kind of mad at the Israelites for still trying to be Israelites and stand strong in the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith of the Most High.
Yeah.
And the promise of our Messiah coming.
Yeah.
And they kind of with the Edomites, like, come on, man, y'all gotta. No, that's not. These are our. You gotta imagine they was cooning big time. They're Jews just as much as us. You gotta imagine that it's cool doing that. And he kind of have a baby with her, and she have a baby, or a damn Canaanite man have a baby with an Israelite woman, and he kind of saying, he an Israelite now. You gotta imagine this stuff is going on. Same thing with Edomite. They literally were saying that they were Jews, Edomites, just like today. I'm a Jew inwardly. Spiritually, I come from Abraham.
Yeah.
And we get the promises. You got to imagine this stuff is climaxing. It says, the land was not the kingdom of Judah, but the nation of the Jews, Judeans. Historically, the Edomites became known as the Jews, a term derived from Judean, which was derived from the name Judah, being the royal line of Israel, though they were never of Judah or Israel. So they became Jews. We the Judites. And this is how you do the temple. Look, let me show you how to do this. And then Herod called his lackey and he burned up a sacrifice to the Most High and Zeus at the same time. Crazy stuff. Then now start getting into Titus.
Hey, Romans 9:6. Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Oh, that's hot.
They are not all Jews who are called Jews.
Come on, man. And that makes sense, because then this Romans 9.
Then he goes straight to the Edomites. He
goes straight to the Edomites, bro. That make a lot more sense now.
Hey, with all thy getting, get understanding.
That's nasty. Oh my God. It says historically the Edomites became known as Jews. You got these damn devils all intermingled with everything.
And then they took it a step. I'm a Sephardic Jew. I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. Nigga, you a damn heathen.
You an Edomite, bro. Keep it a stack, bro. You an Edomite.
He don't fit none of the curses.
Bro, imagine, bro, you got people during this time, like, it's just it's madness, bro. This put everything into perspective.
Bro.
Let's put everything into perspective, bro. Every name that was in here down there, I looked up in the Jewish Virtual Library, and they got some information on it.
See, anybody we look down into, we can, bro. And I'm telling you, this is the beautiful part about the scriptures, because, bro, this book right here, this got the Apocrypha in there, but it can't possibly break down who everybody is in great detail. This right here, this is like an overview of world history when it comes to the Israelites. But now we got a 1 Timothy 2:15. Or is it Second Timothy? Damn, I'm getting rusty. Let me go check that out. Second Timothy. Sheesh. 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So when you just read the scriptures, I mean, you come up on wisdom, knowledge, understanding, bread, discernment, all of it, history, future, present, all of that. But then once you go back in there and you really diving even deeper, you just get that much more of a better understanding of what you read. So that's good right there. We came up on some bread, man. Some of that stuff I didn't even know.
Yeah, bro. For real. That's
Yeah,
hot. Putting everything together like that was nasty.
that was fun. I gotta take a breather.
Right.
Yeah. My
That's
my,
weird.
my spiritual stamina is I got a cap for sure. I got a cap. This is halftime right there.
He said it's halftime right there.
Halftime.
Oh man, that was nasty, bro.
Yeah, that was through the spirit, man. That was through the spirit. Through the spirit. But those be the best lessons. The best lessons. What's going on in the chat, man? Melodic Tune, Shalom. Unique. Young Aqua, Shalom. James Collier, Shalom. Chosen by Yah, Shalom. What's the deal?
Bro, you heard of King Agrippa?
Yes, I've heard of him.
That's Herod's grandson.
Is it?
Yeah.
King Agrippa is Herod's
Grandson of Herod and Merimni the Hasmonean, the son of Aristobulus and
So he get to call
Bernice.
himself a Hasmonean now. That's crazy.
Bro, this the one who Paul, this Agrippa is the one who Paul was in Acts damn. He was on trial against. He was on trial with King
Yeah,
Agrippa.
yeah. That makes that's you connected that for me because
That's crazy.
the grandson of Herod.
That's fun. That's fun right there. That's what you call a Bible study. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the church, brother. We ain't in the church no more.
We actually gonna learn something.
We actually gonna learn something. Damn, boy, I think we can call it a wrap after that. That was nice.
Yeah, we could just sit back, relax, chill. We could chop it up for a few more minutes, but
yeah,
I'm chilling now. We still got camp, bro. We gotta save some spirit for later.
He said we still got camp.
That was fun. Hey, y'all think we should do more stuff like this where we dive more into history and in the Jewish virtual library and in other books, you know, timelines? I know Shawab, he like that. He like this.
Bro, you know what I was thinking about this for a lot of this? When we was talking about Julius Caesar, where folks don't even know he a part of the 12 feathers in Second Esdras.
Exactly.
It's so much you can just get into, bro. It's nasty.
Yep, Julius Caesar definitely got. It's prophetic when you go into Second Esdras. That's hot. That's a deep breakdown too.
That's a meaty breakdown, boy.
Yep, the 12 feathers going over them emperors, man. Yeah, that motherfucker was weighty.
He said it's weighty. Bro, that's why I like having my laptop, bro.
Yeah, you was mobile today, bro.
I was mobile today. I can move, bro. I can get active.
Yeah, you was mobile today. You was pulling it up, bringing it out. We need to start making PowerPoints.
Bro, for real, bro. During that kind of time, huh? That Priest Daniela time. He nasty. Oh,
Alizar kind of time. When Alizar get in his bag and pull out a damn PowerPoint,
I would just sit down.
that's how you know when you see a brother in the truth start whipping out their own PowerPoints they made, he getting in his bag.
Oh, that's funny.
Wife said, I hated studying into the truth, Khan. Agreed. Melodic Tune said, I love to learn. But you can't.
He said, I love to learn.
All praises to the Most High.
They didn't teach us none of this in school.
Bruh. It's like they taught us some of this stuff, like, you know, you heard about the Romans, the Greeks, but how it related to the Israelites, not at all. How it related to us. That's why I couldn't. Why? I just didn't see the benefit of it. I wish I would have paid more attention though, because some of the stuff, would benefit me now.
Yeah, that's the only class I wish I would have paid more attention to is history. I don't care about nothing else.
Facts.
I care about science. I'm not saying I don't care about it like it's not real, but the science they teach us, I don't care about it. I don't care about math.
Bro, I'm in 5th grade and I had to break down on a nucleus.
Yeah.
An atom, neutrons, protons.
No business learning that.
I don't know any of God's commandments at all. I'm out here with this different breakdown though.
You out here with a weird bag.
I know how many miles Pluto is from Mars breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask me what's good. I don't got an answer.
Good, you know, good. That's what good is. What do you mean?
Off your heart, bro. Yeah.
Good is the opposite of bad.
I know that. All right.
You kind of just feel it.
Yeah. Kind of just give you bag, you know.
You don't gotta be taught that. You just feel it.
Oh no, I'm moving stuff.
That was good, man.
Oh God, that was nasty.
It wasn't even like too deep. It wasn't deep. It was just, what would you call that?
Just right.
Just right.
Nah, it's not for everybody. What we just went into definitely ain't for everybody. It's
Sure.
You gotta have a certain type of stomach for this stuff. It's like this is like the vegetables of the truth. You know what I'm saying? You got your sweet stuff, you got your meat, but then you got your vegetables. The history, you gotta have your vegetables. That's where all your iron and your zinc and all your minerals come in. You gotta have some vegetables, dog.
Vegetables.
It's the vegetables. You know what I mean?
Hot potatoes.
Niggas ain't eating greens. Gotta eat the greens.
Just really put your foot in there. A little soulful.
Mm-hmm.
All praises, man. So whenever you be at work, I think you might have mentioned this one time to me. I don't know if you was at this job or not, but you said something about going live while you at work. And we kind of just chopping it up how we usually do, kind of bring out some precepts and stuff like that. I was thinking about that the other day. Because I want to do a extra lives throughout the week. Even if it's like every other week. Yeah. Or maybe on your off day throughout the week.
Not against it.
You know what? Maybe if I just go live and just hold it down and you just jump in and back me up a little bit because you're at work, you know, whenever you want to get in there and make a point. That'd
Yeah.
be easy.
Down forever.
Yeah, all praises.
I'm down.
My brother's feeling though, man. Zanzis can't figure out what sex they are and don't even know the Ten Commandments.
Read the next comment, because that one don't make sense.
I don't know who Zanzis is. It says Gen Z.
There you
Can't
go.
figure out. Okay. All praises, man. A lot of history, bro. I'm full, man.
Me too.
I gotta digest before camp. You know when you get the itis,
Yeah.
It's too much. It wasn't like all of it was new or just deep. It was just like a lot.
Yeah. Putting it all together too. That's what was new for me.
Yeah,
How
that's
all
what.
that go together.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
nuts, bro. That it lined up with Pompey and Julius Caesar. I didn't know that.
I need to write that down so I can not forget. Pompey.
Pompey sided with Hyrcanus. Pompey falls, but Hyrcanus wins his civil war. That's crazy. Unique. She said, "What y'all think about Malcolm X and MLK?" Well, I think they both found out the truth in the end.
I think they both was powerful, but when you're not keeping God's commandments, it's that.
Yeah.
I think Malcolm X. I think MLK. He was super powerful, but
In the wrong way.
I think our enemies had their claws into him. And was because I get it though. You want to be. We're in this land. You want to make the best of it. All of this segregation going on, the division. He got this dream that we all can be one people and kind of just coexist. But they was working him over, and it'd never happen. Like we'll never be one people, right? Like ever. I'm gonna read this inside, right?
Chosen by Yah, yeah, you can ask us a question.
I think my spirit resonate with both of them brothers. I get it. At times I feel like I'm more cutthroat like Malcolm X. But then at times I'm more softer like MLK. But the only thing that's giving me the right balance is the scriptures. Like you'll see Malcolm X, he had it's recorded where he was talking about we the true children of God, we the Israelites, the lost sheep of Israel. That's hot, man. But I'm gonna read this real quick. Sirach chapter 33 and verse 12. Wait. 33 and 12. I'll start at 11. It says, in much knowledge, the Lord have divided them and made their ways diverse. And this is talking about the people that come out of Adam. He divided them and he made their ways diverse. It says, some of them have he blessed and exalted. And it says, and some of them have he sanctified and set near unto himself. And that's the Israelites. The Israelites, God's chosen people, the people who the Most High God chose. But some of them have he cursed. And brought low and turned out of their places. This is why it's like putting water and oil into the same vessel. I mean, you can put them together, but they still gonna be different no matter what. That's how they was designed. So having this dream for water and oil to, be the same, it'll never be the same. Even if they together. So like, yeah, you got it though.
I watched a video, I believe it was Sakari, I think it was Alazar going over it, how Malcolm X later on in his life found out who we were as a people. I think he gave a speech basically saying how he had led his people into a burning bush or a burning house, something to that effect, basically regretting what he was doing. Because we see now Esau, all they do is use that I have a dream speech to cover up all the racist shit that happened, right? Saying we can be people and we can be one and nonsense. Like I said, I think in his latter day he found out the truth. I heard he even went to Jerusalem or went to Africa and he found out, he found out the truth. But it's too late. And then now I'm not too familiar with Malcolm X walk. I know who he is, yes. I know he was a Muslim. I believe that's the correct term for it, a Muslim. And he, adhered to the Quran, but heard he kind of fell out with Muhammad or something. Somebody kind of snaked him in some sort of aspect. I don't really know.
Yeah, it was Muhammad, the leader, and he seen that like you read this book. We read this book about it in like high school, I believe.
Hmm.
And Muhammad was committing like fornication,
Yeah,
the leader, and it messed up Malcolm X real bad because he followed him wholly.
for that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I know
and
that was part of it. There was more to it though, but that was part of it.
yeah, a little corruption type deal, and it's not a secret how the Nation of Islam teaches, because Nation of Islam is different than the eastern part of the world that practices Islam. NOI is different than them, right? NOI is kind of more our people with the Minister Farrakhan, so on and so forth. They teach two totally different things, but from what I know, they've always taught that we the children of God, we are the people, we the Jews, so on and so forth. But they keep the practices and customs of the Quran. So you know, they both of them pretty cool. They're okay, but I'm more of a fan of the Priest Zabaks and the Danyalas and the Awals. I'm more of a fan of their work.
For real, for real. They were some powerful brothers though, but
Yeah, definitely.
they had a zeal for God too, but not according to now.
Oh, okay. Were the people of Nineveh Israelites? It depends on which context you're looking at it in. During the time of Jonah, when he was sent to the Ninevites, from my understanding, those were the people. Those were our people, right? Because we were led captive in Assyria, right? Which Nineveh is the capital of Assyria, I believe, right?
Yep.
Look at that. Nineveh. Nineveh was the flourishing capital of the Assyrian Empire, right? We were led captives into Assyria, right? Now, when I say we, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the northern kingdom. So being led captive during the time of Jonah, yes, a lot of those people were Israelites. But if you just, like I said, it depends on what kind of context you're talking about. Depends on where you're reading that. It goes over right here. Nineveh, flourishing capital, was the home of King Sennacherib, king of Assyria, during the biblical reign of King Hezekiah.
Yep. Exactly.
Chosen by Yah, he said, but Jonah didn't want to teach/help them. I'll show you why. Let me pull it up.
Chapter 3.
Maybe. I believe so. Huh?
Said the crackling whip.
Yeah, I believe that's where I'm going. Let me, where that KJV
I
thing.
wouldn't want to go to Nineveh either.
He said I wouldn't want to go to Nineveh either.
Nahum 3. I think Nahum 3 is what you want.
God. Whoa.
Bro, I ain't seen this in a minute.
Yeah. It says, Woe to Nineveh is the title, right? Nahum 3:1. Woe to the city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder.
Uh-oh. Something happened to Aharon device.
Can you hear me out?
Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see.
All right, cool. 3 and 2, it says the crack of whips, the clatter of wheels, galloping horses and jolting chariots, charging cavalry, flashing swords and glittering spears, many casualties, piles of dead, bodies without number, people stumbling over the corpses, all because of the wanton lust of a prostitute, alluring the mistress of sorceries who enslaved nations by her prostitution and peoples by her witchcraft. Ryan, I believe he's talking about the Assyrians. This is why Jonah didn't want to go to damn Nineveh. This. You hear how scary that is? I'm not trying to do that. I know a lot of brothers ain't trying to do that. It says, woe, the city of blood. It says bodies without number, piles of dead, many casualties, people stumbling over their corpses. That's why Jonah didn't really want to set sail. You know what I'm saying? He probably was scared. Like, Jonah was a mighty prophet, though. He converted damn near everybody he came into contact with. But going to Nineveh wouldn't be on my top things to do during this time. That's all I say.
I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
But
I haven't read all of this, but I feel like it might be good. Just the start of the title kind of hot. Nineveh at Sin City.
yeah,
I'm like, oh man. It says this is the city. The popular I'm gonna keep reading. The popular 1960 television crime drama Dragnet began every episode with these words. The city, in this case, Los Angeles, embodied the best and worst of human life. See, I don't really want to read all of this unless it's gone.
next little chapter goes into it.
Okay, that's where we're going. I'm like, where are they going with this? All right, it says Nineveh is one of the most prominent foreign cities in the Hebrew Bible. Its portrayal is as a complex blend of historical reality, symbolic force, and legendary embellishment. The historical Nineveh was the capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire in the late 7th century BCE. There was no love lost between the ancient Israelites and Nineveh. The city's king, Sennacherib, laid siege to Jerusalem in 701 BCE. The prophetic book of Nahum is an Israelite taunt song over Nineveh's destruction by the Babylonians in 612 BCE. For Nahum, Nineveh is a city of bloodshed. The Assyrians' ruthless military tactics are also pictured and released from the king's palace in Nineveh, now in the British Museum. It says the other biblical depiction of Nineveh is in the book of Jonah. There, Nineveh is described as huge, taking 3 days to walk across, and thoroughly evil. Look at how they describing this place. Thoroughly evil. But Jonah gives no specifics about the city's evil beyond the king's command that the citizens turn away from the violence that is in their hands. It says Jonah's Nineveh is thematically connected to Sodom, another biblical city. God tells Abraham that the outcry against Sodom is such that he must go down to investigate. So we kind of getting this depiction of how Nineveh was. It says, outside of the Bible, Nineveh was known for having been a great, lawless, and ruined city. Greek literary giants like Herodotus and Aristotle. How you say this? Aristotle. There we go. Shoot,
Yeah.
I know this word. Okay, Aristotle cataloged its sinfulness, describing Sardanapalus, his legendary king, in unflattering and problematic terms. I'm kind of just getting information for myself at this point. Yeah, but it looks like what we was going into, it's kind of going into the same thing.
Nobody wanted to go there. It was terrible.
Right. We for real are in a generation of information now.
A lot of information.
Yeah, too much.
I can create a website right now and just type some shit up.
You actually could.
I can very well do so.
You can create it for free too.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
He said,
knowledge is power for sure. All right, that's all I got, gang. It's 2:30. That give us enough time to do what we gotta do.
God, look at my precepts.
Ooh, and it's hot out there, bro. What is it, 100 degrees? No, it's been 100 degrees in our city, 100 degrees plus in our city all week.
Right now it's 91, which is kind of cool.
All praises to the Most High. It looked like it might rain too.
Bro, I said it was gonna rain yesterday, the day before. I know it rained this morning though. Whatever. But I'm gonna grab my. It's 3:18. Is he talking about literal tires? I'm assuming she's talking about Nahum still. Thy shepherds slumber. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. I don't know what you mean, Hebrew Bible.
Yeah, I don't know either.
If you're talking about Nahum 3:18. Oh, it says IS. She might mean Isaiah 3:18. Let me see.
Maybe so.
Isaiah 3:18. It says, in that day the Lord will take away their bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their claws and their round tires like the moon. Literal tires? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me go to that word in Hebrew. It doesn't have a word for it in Hebrew. It's just it's just like it's the moon. I think the tires part might have been added. Bear with me. Here's what it says in the GNT. It says, a day is coming when the Lord will take away the women of Jerusalem, everything they are so proud of, the ornaments they wear on their ankles, on their heads, on their necks, and on their wrist. He will take away their deals. So Yeah, no, I'm assuming this is talking about their jewelry, all the materialistic stuff that they like, and the tires is probably going into to the bracelets or something. No, verse 19 going to the bracelets, but no, I'm not familiar with the tires like the moon are. Mm. Why you got anything on it or no?
No, sir.
See the calls. It says the front band for women's head, so that's that's going into something. But when I go look at tires like the moon, is just give me the word for moon. So, but we'll grab this First Corinthians 15, 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Now I'm gonna grab Galatians 6 and 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So you.
The last precept being Sirach chapter 43 and verse 30. And it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can. For even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength. And be not weary, because you can never go far enough. You can never praise the Most High God enough. You can never honor the Most High God enough. You can never go too far. If you find yourself being in a position where you can't glorify the Most High God, you can't shout to the height in the depths of your lungs, your bowels. You can't say all praises go to the Most High God because the people you're around, you can't. Hey, I'm gonna throw up this prayer right now. Like it's time for you to recognize that, examine that, and be more strategical with who you spend your time with. Like we always say, it's time to remove those unrighteous people and put righteous brothers and sisters in their steads. My father-in-law said, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, you want to go the distance, take somebody with you. Don't go alone. And on this journey, on this route, on this road, this path to the kingdom, look, man, we're trying to go far. We're trying to go the distance. So you need brothers and sisters who are gonna lift you up when your legs get tired. Right? You need that iron sharpening iron. You need your brothers and sisters. How good it when brothers and sisters can dwell together in unity. Right? So that's the last precept, the water for everybody that tuned in. Lord willing, somebody was edified through the spirit of Yahweh Yahushua. And we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.